there's a show out called The Traitors, which I am very much invested in.
Call him out. It's the time to say something.
Rappaport was holding Underwood accountable.
Nobody can be that confident about who the traitors are other than the damn traitors.
Michael's in your face.
Yeah,
You know
okay,
what you
cool.
can do with Michael.
In your face feels like an understatement. My God.
You don't know Dorinda like I know Dorinda.
I do not.
Okay?
I told you I'm bored and overeducated.
Here we go again. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Bored and Overeducated Podcast. I am here with my amazing, wonderful, and spunky bestie, W. And of course, it is me, Dr. B, and we are so excited to be back here for the second episode. Say, hey, W, how are you doing?
Everybody, you're welcome. Come into my bosoms. Love that.
So let the people know what we're going to be talking about today, because this was actually W's choice of the week. So it's only right that he introduces it.
It's so interesting that these events occurred within days of each other, or I became aware of them within days of each other. There's a show out called The Traitors, which I am very much invested in. It has some of my favorite characters, like Candace from the Real Housewives of Potomac and Tiffany Mitchell from Big Brother. My favorite season of Big Brother.
One quick note I have to make. When I was watching it, I did, because we didn't know that we were both watching it, right? So it's important for the listeners to know. I was watching it and W was watching it, and we never talked about it until last week that we both saw it. But when I did watch this season, I was like, oh, a bunch of these housewife people on here that I don't know. And I even said to Vaughn, I was like, which is my husband, I was like, Marvin's always telling me to watch Housewives, and I don't know none of these people. Maybe if I had watched it, I would know these people. So I did think about you. And then I was like, oh, well, of course you watched it. It makes sense that you watched it.
Yes. So actually, Dorinda, who is from the Real
I
Housewives
remember
of New York
Dorinda.
City.
She had to go with a quickness. That
Well,
first
she had to
season.
go last season, and she got to go this season.
I said, what did that lady do? She just looked pleasant. Just
No,
mind her business.
you don't know Dorinda like I know Dorinda.
I do not.
Okay,
I do
that's why
not.
you say the things you say in the way that you say them, because you don't know Dorinda the way that I know Dorinda. Okay.
Oh, see, so now we found out what that earlier energy was about. That was for Dorinda. And you thought she might be listening. There it is. What did she do to you? Tell the people.
She didn't do. No, I appreciate Dorinda. I really enjoy her character. So what I want to say is that Dorinda and Candace, who is from the Real House of Potomac, Dorinda, who is from the Real House of New York City, they're Sagittarius women.
Wow.
So
Us, well, minus the only one of us is a woman, but yeah. Respecting how you identify. We respect people's identities.
Right? Yes, we do. So that may be why I am drawn to them most, and I enjoy them most, and I understand where they're coming from, even when well, no, Candace does a really good job at explaining herself clearly. It's just other people are choosing to misunderstand her. And also, I feel like Dorinda is clear in her communication as well. I understand everything she's saying, but I could also see from other people's point of view how they may miss, because sometimes Dorinda will do things where you're wondering, where's that coming from? She's trying to tell you something, but she doesn't want to actually tell you straight up, because she knows that the way she comes off may be a bit abrasive, and she doesn't want to scare you, right? So she wants to lure you in. And so sometimes Dorinda
like how she was coming at Bob the drag queen at the reunion. Yeah. And I love Bob the drag queen, but I also thought he was actually no, he was playing a role that he was supposed to play. He was a traitor. So never mind what I was going to say. I was going to say I did feel like he was a little cutthroat in the little bit of time that he was there, but also he was a traitor. And then the whole outfit at the reunion I thought was just it was hilarious for the role.
He's a character, he's theatrical, and I appreciate his work. But he exhibited, along with this guy in this past episode, Colton.
Yeah, I remember.
Have you noticed that they go straight for the women, and specifically the Black women, first to be exiled off the show? because the reason I want to bring this up is because it took me off guard how Tiffany Mitchell was not allowed to play.
Hmm.
And again, Tiffany Mitchell is from Big Brother season 23, my favorite season of Big Brother. And at the round table of traitors, where you have 3 or 4 traitors in a season, they can't give themselves up. We don't know who they are. And the faithfuls are just regular people who are looking for the traitors. And it's
Hmm.
a competition show, there's prize money and whatnot. Um, but the framing of calling out a traitor
Hmm.
versus accusing someone of being a traitor is a very thin line. And with this particular episode, I feel like that line was jumped or it was crossed. And it went from what I like and what I hope traders to be and what it could be is intelligent, comical gameplay.
Yeah, yeah.
And as we know, competition shows are microcosms for the real world, just an expedited process.
Hmm.
But what was displayed from Colton Underwood, he's from The Bachelor. I never watched this. I don't watch The Bachelor.
Watch, yeah. I see. That's that's crazy because that's the person I did know. Yeah, and I don't, and I haven't watched a lot of seasons of The Bachelor at all, but I did see his. And then I'm trying to remember what was the other guy who said that he was so confident it was Tiffany's voice because
His name
he's
was
a
Eris. His name
Eric.
was
That's what I
Eris.
thought.
Yeah.
I thought that was Eric. Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting moment for me because I did reflect extra on that because of the parallels of them both being Black women. Um, and then I found myself listening to both of their voices to see, and like, I guess to be fair, like, there's always a lot of times there's some parallels just because of maybe shared identities, right, or whatever. But I don't think their voices sounded the same. And then to say it with so much confidence, I think he was confident it was a Black woman. But to say that you were confident, you don't. Okay, you don't even agree with that.
I'm not gonna interrupt you
Now I
because
want to know your
that
thoughts.
I will not say he was confident in the type of person it was. I would say he was confident in joining the bandwagon that was
Mm,
spearheaded by a white. And I'm gonna get
mm.
into it later,
Oh,
but
well,
if you want to finish, if
no,
you want
that's
to
a
finish,
great.
I'll let me finish, or you could bring up the clip of where it all started and what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Because as someone who's currently on holiday, yay me,
For people who
I
don't know that live out of, or that live in the United States right now, holidays just means like on vacation from work. He has to be, so he's, from the States, by the way. He just doesn't live here anymore. Doesn't want to identify with us, which, given the times, we can understand. If we're on the
I'm
on the
thinking,
right side of history, we can understand.
but yes, I have time to replay episode clips, and particularly, I looked at where Eric Nam positioned himself from episode one.
Yeah.
Who you decide to stand by, who you decide to sit by, who you decide to be in the presence of determines how you present yourself and how you move at the table.
And then also Tiffany was giving definitely W energy in that one part, right? When she called Colton out, that was so you.
That
She's
was
like, but I'm listening. That was so you. I love it.
I will say you sound dead ass wrong, but keep going.
Yep, that's literally that's your version of it. That's your remake. That's so real. But yeah, okay, so we got a glimpse of that scene, but for those who haven't seen this episode or seen the full moment, I do encourage you to go look it up. I mean, that whole roundtable moment with Tiffany and everybody attacking her was pretty intense. So yeah, but yeah, where do you want to start with this? Because we were having a little bit of discussion. So what are your thoughts after because I see it brought something up in you. So let it out.
So there's this scene. It really ticked me off, and I brought it up because white man and an Asian man discussing politics giving their superficial opinion on a certain politician by the name of Jasmine Crockett. And I
Hmm.
want you to bring up that clip so that we
Before
can
we
have a
talk about it, for sure.
comparative analysis.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm a politician is making it too obviously about themselves, I'm already done.
We're
and
out.
don't waste your money sending to Jasmine Crockett. Do not do it.
I must agree.
Don't do it. You're going to waste your money. Take it from someone who sent Sarah Gideon like a ton of money in Maine. Like, just don't do it. Don't waste your money. Don't do it.
It's hard enough to come by.
And by the way, I am not being like,
Okay, so it is so important that y'all know that that's my first time seeing that clip. That shocked me and really is upsetting. Wow. So wait, what is that? Where is that from? What is that? Who was I just watching?
So that second clip is Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers. Bowen Yang just left SNL, and Matt Rogers is maybe an actor. I haven't seen anything that he's in. And they have a podcast together, and they talk about just anything on that podcast, similar to us. I mean, similar to what
Yeah.
everyone's doing, because we can't trust, established media. And the reason and what they were talking about was how Jasmine Crockett is an established Democrat, and that's what they don't want for us or for themselves going forward. The problem is how they brought it up and what they missed, right? And so the reason why this also ticked me off um, as well is because if you notice in both clips, Black women are being penalized for being active, for playing the game,
Mm-hmm.
or um, for having a voice, having some type
Yeah.
of independence and character, and trying to get things done, right? In one clip, you saw Tiffany Mitchell being accused of, from my opinion, being too strong, because there's some tone policing coming from Colton saying, "You didn't sound suspicious. You sound like you were strategizing. You're in a game."
Yeah. Everybody's strategizing. Traitors is literally about strategizing. If you're not strategizing, why are you there?
You see why I said you sound
Mhm.
dead ass wrong, but I'm gonna let you continue? And
Mhm.
why she said something very similar?
Uh-huh. No, you're absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so interesting too because the two parallel moments, I mean, they really do genuinely parallel each other, and being able to just kind of see again this level of like weaponizing things that shouldn't be weaponized against a Black woman, right? That's just unfair, right? And like you said, a lot of it is the speaking out about things
Being
that need to be
active,
yeah, being active. And I
giving
love
those
the whole being
grown.
active with playing the game, because it's like, honestly, as sad as it is, Traitors kinds of reflects what's going on politically in some ways, right? Like and what we're up against, right? With the faithfuls being people who are like, hey, aren't you seeing the pain that we're causing one another by being hateful, by, being unwilling to learn and educate yourself, by continuing patterns of generational trauma and toxic thinking and not doing anything about it, right? And then the Traitors are the ones trying to convince you that, like, oh, we need to keep things the same. It's been great. It has not been great. The only thing that's been great is your Frosted Flakes, and those aren't even that great anymore. Okay, so
Salty
it is
flakes are not
nothing.
good for you. Throw it out.
Throw it out. That ain't even great. That ain't even great. So it's like, yeah, this wow, two great clips. Come, you came with it, W. This is great.
And it brought something up that occurred back at university for me. Remember, you and I were discussing our first days on that campus, and you heard a white man, a student, say, "Wow, there's a lot of
Yeah.
color here in our
Yeah. I
cohort."
do remember. I will always remember that. That was like maybe the second day we were on campus. And for those who like went away to university, a lot of formal universities, what they do for the freshmen is you like take a big group picture. And so we were taking that big picture that they take for all the incoming freshmen. And Yeah, I'm trying to I'm trying to remember the exact verbatim. I'm like, did he say color? Did he say colored people? Did he say something else? I don't remember. It's been some years, but I remember whatever it was. It was problematic or worse.
And
um,
I have a memory of an elephant, and I have a hard time letting things go. I know exactly who you're talking about because
you
we
know who
shared
said
that.
it?
I
Call him
and
out.
we
Call him. No, I'm
shared.
playing. Call him out. It's the time to say something.
And we shared econ classes together. And I
Mm,
don't know if you remember who Leslie is.
I
She
do.
was
Yeah.
yeah, she was also an econ major. And she's a black woman. For those who don't know, I'm not gonna give her last name. But she's from Indianapolis, and she's the most even kiltered individual. She is a collaborator. She's a listener, even back
Mm-hmm.
then. And one reason I remember her is because she was so patient. But I've always noticed that when we shared those same classes, that white man that you were talking about, that
Mm-hmm.
white man student, he would make it a point when it came to group projects, when it came to group papers, to not listen, to distance, to not give opinion, to not associate with people who were not complex.
Oh my
And
God. Okay, so now I'm even more confident that it was
yeah,
it was a
but
do you recall what I told you exactly he said at the time? Because obviously that would have been fresh
we were
memory.
we were in our cohort, and we were
Yeah.
all gathering in front of the Performing Arts Center,
Yeah, I
Green,
remember. Yeah.
and he said, "Wow, there are a lot of colors here." Oh
Yeah.
no, they let a lot of colors in this.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that is yep. Mhm.
I know
And
who
it
you're
was
talking.
yeah, it was just I mean, not that there's any way that you say that there wouldn't be like a disgusting thing to hear, but there was just like an extra level of disgust behind what he was saying. Yeah. And and keep in mind also it's like the fact that he already felt entitlement of being there and thought we weren't entitled to be there is crazy. Like sir, we all arrived here yesterday
Mhm.
and we all earned our spot to be here.
Mm. And so, these situations make me recall instances that occurred back at our alma mater, even before you and I met at that institution. But you see that we don't know Colton's political affiliations. It doesn't matter. I do know that Bowie Yang and Matt Rogers consider themselves liberals, leftists, whatever. I don't consider myself any of those things. But what I do consider myself is a humanist, meaning it
Mhm.
doesn't matter where you come from. I'm going to take the time to listen to you. I'm going to take the time for you to show me what you want to show me.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
as soon as you say coloreds, he's gonna be like, "You're racist."
Yes.
Yeah, because you
but you
are.
even- but you don't even have to say that, right? I would just look at your action and your
Mhm.
words.
Absolutely.
And
There's so many
and
ways that it's communicated. Mhm. And you saw that
absolutely.
with him. And you
I
saw that
saw
with
that
him and how he was
I
in the
saw that with
classes.
I saw that with Colton Underwood. I saw that with Eric Nam. I saw that with Matt Rogers, and I saw that with uh, Bowen Yang. And what
Mhm.
do they all have in common? They're men.
Mhm.
And you see how they were adverse, had visceral reactions to women playing the same game as them.
Mm. Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not here to, I'm not here or want to talk about man versus woman. I'm just noticing, specifically within traders and just in regular life, there are a lot of biases that people will not check. And even in that moment when Tiffany was trying to put a mirror up to him to
Yeah,
let him
yeah.
see what he was doing,
Mhm.
watch that episode. She did a master class
She really
on
did.
defending oneself, putting up a mirror for the other person to see, yet he refused to take a moment
Mm-mm.
and say, you know what, I could be wrong. But he was so hell bent,
Mhm.
just like Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang were so hell bent on framing a woman, a black woman, as enemy of the state,
Mm-hmm.
a traitor,
Mm-hmm.
or not useful. And they did not
And there
bring
was
up.
also like a lack of, if I'm remembering correctly from the episode,
Mhm.
there was also, even still in the aftermath, another opportunity to reflect on behavior. Such a limited amount of empathy. It was like, damn, we sent sent that woman home. Welp, no, like, it was like, yeah, but the way you went about it was really, really messed up, and like acknowledging what can I, even though, like, yes, the name of the game is to send people home. So like, it's not even necessarily that as much as it is also reflecting on how you're playing the game and what that reflects about how you move in the world. Because you're absolutely right that there are messages regarding that, right, that are showing up in that moment. Because he was kind of, he's just arrogant and in so many ways throughout. He was already, wasn't he like on to the next, like, I mean, didn't even finish the sip of his water. She had just said she was a faithful, and he was already like, well, I'm attacking this person next, and really needs to reflect on how he's going about doing it, game or not.
I also want to bring up in the previous episode how he also spearheaded a campaign against Donna Kelsey, who is
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelsey's mother,
Yeah.
and he showed some empathy for her, even after getting her evicted, and she was a
Mm,
traitor, right? But the way,
right.
but even though she was a traitor, you see how he gave her some
It
type
was
of empathy.
easier for him to give her empathy than the single mother that he sent home that was a faithful. That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point, because he just had like well, whatever, this is how the game goes.
So, friend, I'm over here heat.
And she was a white woman too. Did you say that? That the Donna
Yes,
is yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
White woman,
Mm-hmm.
blonde hair,
And
don't
she
know
was
the eye
literally a
color,
traitor, y'all. So like, that's who you're supposed to send home. Like, that's
and you're
the
not supposed to have
actual goal of the
empathy.
game. Yeah.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
and then during that roundtable with Colton, Eric, Tiffany, and Eric Nam, who is a K-pop singer. I don't listen to his music. Never heard of him before. Um, this episode, and I never will invest anything because he just showed what I've been seeing also from our time at our institution, how he was so sure that the archetypes, the stereotypes of Black people, he thought that those stereotypes were true. And he used that as a way to accuse Tiffany of something that had nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the only reason he spoke up is because he felt emboldened by the white man, Colton.
That is, I mean, that's really
Yeah,
how it plays out.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
It just reminded me of so many social interactions back in university where I'm like, you're not giving me a chance, or you're not giving a person a chance, all because of
Mm-hmm.
their skin complexion. Myself, and you've seen how I move. Literally, I treat everyone the same.
Mm-hmm.
I give everyone the same grace. I give everyone the same consideration, and I give people so many chances. Um,
Sometimes too many. Yeah.
yes, and it just like that just literally took me back. But also, I had to stop projecting for a moment, pause it, and be like, remove yourself from this. 'Cause it has nothing to do with me. But at the same time, I was like, why is no one else at the table protecting Tiffany? I
Yeah.
understand there is traitors, but is no one listening to the words, to the delivery of Eric and Colton? None of
Mm-hmm.
it. The way they approached it was not strategy,
Mm-hmm.
or at least not in a game sense, not in a logic sense, unless you look at it from this perspective.
Oh,
Mm.
but there was,
Unless,
but there was even, hold on, but there was also a moment where, 'cause it's the same, right? Yeah, where Colton was protected, right, around his sexuality, and that should have happened. I'm not saying that shouldn't have happened,
no,
right?
I don't agree, but keep going.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I think that Michael making that comment, that was also not okay and should not have happened. Right, because we know what he was insinuating, and he tried to backtrack, and he also still didn't take accountability. And then even when he did, he hit you with the half-ass apology of like, I'm sorry if that made anyone feel offended. And it's like, no, you said something that was extremely offensive. Right. But you're bringing up the point of like, where were the people jumping in for Tiffany? And I do feel like there was an immediate jump in, right, when that comment was made. Now, granted, there could be other factors, just to be fair, right? Because there were other people that at the table that were part of the LGBTQIA plus community. So that could be also why they felt like, what the fuck did you just say? Like that could be part of it. But still, nonetheless, I think the point remains that like there was a rescuing and a stepping up for what's right that happened a lot quicker when Colton was so to speak, being the one that was attacked or comments being made that were not appropriate towards him. So that's interesting.
Colton and Eric were attacking Tiffany,
Yes.
and no one did a single thing
No.
about
Mm-hmm.
And it really ticked me off because they're allowing racial biases to rule govern how they play that game. Matt and Bowen were allowing racial biases to rule govern how they talked about Jasmine crime. And I'm just thinking to myself, is anyone going to take a moment to just think about how words come out of their mouth? Because words mean things, but also how you set up words, how you deliver
For
a
sure.
message, how you paint an image. They all come from somewhere and they're all going to mean something when they
Mm-hmm.
hit the audience.
All the points you're making are 100% valid, right? But at the same time, too, I think you have an expectation of a level of awareness that I don't think that they embodied or had, at least at the time, because if they did, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. And that's an explanation, not an excuse. Most things are an explanation, not an excuse. But you're asking of them something that if they had had that in the moment, this would not have happened, right? So I think it's important to just kind of acknowledge that all the points you're making, it shows that there was an absence of this. This was carelessness. This was ignorance. This was, so to say, how could you be ignorant? Yeah, bigotry, all of that. They were not thinking about it like that. This was like, it's just like when people have microaggressions, or again, it's not being excused because we call it a microaggression, right? We understand that that's still coming from a place of low social awareness, self-awareness, cultural competency, all of that. But we also have to remember that because those things play a role, that's literally what's creating that moment, right? If those things are addressed, these things, the frequency of them go down and hopefully eventually go away altogether for the most part. And even if something like that did happen, you would have the person catching themselves, right? And correcting, because we all make mistakes and slips of the mouth and all that. So like, I think it's important to acknowledge that like this was also like a reflection of where they're at on their journeys, whether they realize it or not. And it's a prime example of how people think, oh, I'm so good at this, or I have evolved in this way. And like literally the things that you think are showing that you are skilled are showing where you lack skills, right? And this is like a prime example of that.
Such as Eric Nam saying he has fine-tuned his ears.
Yeah,
From what I
this
saw,
he came with the big dog energy. I know my music.
he said, I have something to say. I would prefer if you not.
And then who else said? Somebody said after he said that, or like they were like, I really believed him because I've seen him. Colton said that he's heard his like skill or his music or whatever.
Old ass lie.
Oh, that's
As I know, if you remember from the first episode.
this is messier than it seems.
If you remember from the first episode.
This is like watching back a Jordan Peele movie and getting really all the extra, messaging and symbolism that you missed. It's like, oh God, was all of that in here? Was all of that? Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Shout out
going
to
back.
He's amazing. Okay, sorry.
For real though. Hey yo, put me on one of your projects.
Yeah, put me in something. I can be us.
Or if you
I can get out.
if you want extra writers. If you look at the first episode of Traitors, they're all introducing themselves and many people didn't know who he was. who
Yeah, yeah,
nominated. So
yeah.
the
Hmm.
fact that one person was like, yeah, I listened to his music. No, you
And I
didn't.
and I ate that shit up. I believe it. I did. I was like, oh, I just believed at the very least that like he had listened to his music. But you got a good point now. I'm like, we was just out here saying whatever to justify what we were doing instead of just taking accountability. Here's the thing. Here's the takeaway lesson here. When you do things, take the time to self-analyze, especially after major things occur, right? And then take accountability, even if it's uncomfortable, even like actually especially if it's uncomfortable, because that is a gate to the next version of you, a better version of you. When you avoid the accountability that is yours, you just dig in a deeper hole. You say more stupid shit. You make more mistakes. It's like it just gets worse, not
Right.
better. So like just take accountability and reflect and realize we're here to learn. What if I tell you 2 plus 2 equals 4 and you thought it was 6 and you keep fighting me on it? Which one of us is going to look foolish?
But you said something that was important as well. When you're in a tense moment and you're not at that part of your journey, right? How do you accept being held accountable for bigoted, ignorant, calculated actions?
Hmm.
How does that work when you're not at that part of your journey?
When you're not, so it works in doing it in the aftermath, right? So instead of just having so like even in my book, I talk about like the self work. Usually we catch ourselves when we're newer at doing something or newer at being intentional about making a change. We're usually catching ourselves after the action, the behavior, the thing that we need to be evolving from. And then as we practice that, we will get better at catching ourselves during. And then eventually we will get better at preventing it altogether, significantly decreasing that frequency. So you're absolutely right. In the heat of the moment is not where the beginning of change will happen because it's hard, it's uncomfortable. You have to work on things in the reflection beyond after the uncomfortable thing happened. And for people who want to dive deeper, like I said, there's a whole part of my book about this, plus so much more for healing and growth, which is Bold, Black, and Becoming
Book
by
is
me,
called
Dr.
Bold,
Bina
Black,
Gray.
and Becoming,
Yes, a
where it's
psychology guide to
for
heal and
everyone.
thrive. It is for
Yeah.
everyone. My readers, my readers are of all backgrounds, all identities, and the first page is a special message to my non-Black readers, but it has representation absolutely for the Black community to especially help fight stigma and also just to have more representation, right? We need representation. It helps. But yeah, Bold, Black, and Becoming. Check it out if you really want to go deeper with this. But the whole point, the takeaway of this part of what I talk about in my book is you catch yourself later. It's going to be hard in the midst because you've learned to be defensive. You learn like a lot of times these things are rooted in I can't speak for Colton per se, but a lot of people's defensiveness comes from growing up in environments where making mistakes literally led to violence, led to other forms of abuse, psychological, emotional, neglect, whatever it may be. So you learn to be defensive when someone accused you of maybe having made a mistake. Because before the stakes were so high and you're not realizing, oh, the stakes are still high, but it's a different kind of high. It's like your self-development depends on it, right? Your quality of life depends on it. Your ability to have relationships that go deeper than talking about sports and the weather depends on it. So it's really damn important that you work on that
I agree.
expeditiously. Journal, sit with yourself, and reflect
Yes,
on those experiences if you can't do it while it's happening.
correct. I received all of that. It's just, I want to be the person to hold these individuals accountable. I have to admit that I too have my moments, even still, at
Yeah,
my
we all
big old
do.
age. So, I think it's important to provide some grace, but at the same time, certain things should take some consideration, should have some care, even when you're playing a game like Traitors, even
Yeah.
when you are discussing the political future of an area, even an area that you don't live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wanted to get
It's
that off
like the
my chest.
Stanford prison experiments too. Like sometimes when people that psychological experiment, which I think most people listening will be familiar with if you took like a psychology 101 class. But if you're not, simple experiment, well the breakdown of the experiment is simple, not the actual experiment itself.
Yeah,
Anyway, but it was people were assigned to be prisoners and guards, and they had to stop the experiment after 6 days because people started to embody those roles so much that there was now this psychological abuse happening, these mental games, emotional manipulation, and maybe even physical stuff too. I'm not sure. I think so. I think the people who were assigned as guards started being even physically violent. So we have to remember that there is science behind this as well, right? Study what groupthink is, because that plays a role, right? Or how we are impacted by, like you said, following, one person who is maybe speaking in a certain kind of way, their train of thought, and you're not even like thinking for yourself anymore and you think you are. So it's really important that we understand these things because we can get so into these roles. I think Colson also like saw himself as like the private eye of the Traitors so much that he wasn't checking his own biases, his racial biases, the other things that were showing up, right? And yeah, because it was just like an arrogance. I'm like, nobody can be that confident about who the traitors are other than the damn traitors. And you're not one. So why are you that confident? That confident? Wait, did you have your ear up against the door when it was having a meeting? Not understanding. You're so mad at this man.
it's
Tell
not
me to-
it's not just him. I'm not only upset and frustrated and disappointed by Colton Underwood right now, Matt Rogers and Bone Yang. I am even more upset with everyone around them because it goes back
Mhm,
to what you were talking about, groupthink
mhm. And bystander effect.
and
Somebody's going to stop
bystander
this,
effect.
right? Somebody? Nobody did. Yeah, nobody did.
And as you know, like throughout my entire life, and you see some of it, when something's not right, I'm the first person to speak out.
Mhm.
Whether
But
Mhm.
why do you know that that's important to do? You see? Full circle moment, right? Because you have knowledge of why it's important to do that, because you know other people are in different places on their journey and they may not understand what's at stake by not doing that, by waiting for someone else to take it over, because you understand these particular psychological phenomenon, right? Or these parts of human behavior that you're like, no, it's important that I do speak up. But if you
Mhm.
didn't have that knowledge, you might still speak up, but you might not.
You're
So
right.
we also, going back to your point of seeing everybody's humanity, it is a calling of like seeing where everybody is on their journey. And that again is an explanation, not an excuse. But we can't
Mhm.
really help people evolve in their thinking if when we're interacting with them and trying to help them see where they need to grow, that it's coming from with just attacking energy. Because that then triggers the same thing that whatever they went through in the first place that led to this defensiveness around, being, possibly making a mistake or being wrong, it triggers that same trauma response, then we're actually less likely to help them if we're trying to positively influence them. It's something to keep in mind.
Based off of what occurred, even after listening to what you're saying, um, I'll never like him. Um,
And that's okay.
yeah. Um, even when you're saying that, I'm thinking about how quiet everyone was against. Well, I mean, when racism was exhibited at that table, in contrast to possible homophobia. I hear what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, and
Mm-hmm.
you have your stand,
Mm-hmm.
but I am the queer person
Yes.
amongst it, amongst us both,
Yeah.
and
Speak on it.
I volunteered in homeless shelters where
Mm-hmm.
the population has been overwhelmingly queer, black, and so again, taking feelings out of it and focusing on action. You brought it up already, how everyone jumped. when there was a
Yeah.
hint of homophobia. I didn't sense homophobia.
What did you sense? What did you take from Michael's? And do you know about Michael? Like, beyond. Okay, I just need to. That's important. That's
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay. So you're aware of him. Okay.
I'm
So.
very much aware of Michael Rappaport and his antics. He
Mhm,
is socially inept. He
mhm,
has displayed throughout. Well, because I'm more aware of Michael Rappaport, I am more aware of the racially motivated antics
yeah.
that he has displayed throughout his run in the public sphere. So it was surprising to me when everyone at the table was shocked at Michael Rappaport speaking on that, but I wasn't shocked
Mhm,
because I heard his message.
mhm,
I wasn't blinded by the identity politics that Colton used to further himself in the game.
mhm.
And I'm going to say this. What Colton did was despicable. And what Colton is doing is despicable because, like you said before, he wasn't hunting. I mean, he's not a traitor. He's a faithful.
He's a
But what I
faithful.
did, but what I have noticed and what I've talked to you about off camera is that he's hunting faithfuls
Mhm,
and he's going after the most vulnerable groups because he knows no one will protect them.
mhm.
Which is why I hear you when you say everyone's on their own journey. But how is it that everyone was able to react immediately to a glimmer of homophobia, but not to racism and not to misogyny?
Mhm.
I did research on Colton after the fact. I'm
Um.
aware of his troubles with the law after watching that episode. I'm aware of it now. But to me, these two people are the same evil. One is just more in your face, while the other is more silent. And everyone at that table,
Meaning Michael and Colton. Oh
Michael's in
yeah.
your face. You
Yeah.
know what
Okay.
you're gonna do with Michael.
In your face feels like an understatement. My God. Oh
You know you're gonna do with
goodness.
that man.
Don't do
But
a
with
crime with
Colton,
Michael. He will tell everybody.
right.
He can't stop himself. He can't regulate himself. He just go. Yeah.
But
It's
what Colton is and what Colton does is what we experience at our institution is people who don't like us and will never like us because of our skin complexion, but
mhm.
won't say it out loud. So we can't protect
Mhm.
ourselves, right?
Mm.
We can't call them out.
Making it
But
about
we'll
something else. Yeah.
right, but we'll
Mhm.
use some other isms so that they can guard themselves from being held accountable by people.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that is what bothers me
Mhm.
because Rappaport was holding Underwood accountable. But
Mhm.
everyone at that table was just like, you're straight. You can't talk about queerness. And you know what? There is a point in my life where I was like, yeah, people should stay in their own communities and people within one's own community should hold each other accountable within those communities. But the more mature I get in life, at my big old age, I'm realizing a broken clock is right 2 times in a day
Mhm.
if you're not using military time.
Important to be specific. Yes. Mhm.
And it goes back to what you say that because of my own experiences, I'm more hip to certain things, right? And it was just like in that I'm like, why is everyone gasping? Did y'all not see what just occurred at the previous
Mhm.
round table and the table
Mhm.
before that?
Mhm.
So, friend, I hear you. You are the licensed psychologist. You are trained to give more consideration and care in a moment, even after the fact, and be able to help people connect it. That
Mhm.
is your skill. That is your talent. That's who you are, as a
Mhm.
person as well. I feel. But for me,
You're gonna be like, but who I? But who
yo,
I?
where is my spear and shield? I'm going to war. And
Yeah.
I'm,
No, I
I'm not
feel
going
you.
to war for my report. I don't want that to be confused. I will
Yeah. I was
no,
like, wait a minute.
no, all right. But he has a point.
No, he did have
And
no.
he
I
needs to be heard.
100% agree that he had a point. And I'm gonna be real with you. The glimmer part is so real, like the glimmer of homophobia, because even I almost missed it, like because it was like until they were like, "Oh, you can't say that." I was like, "Oh, I see how that could be perceived," as like you say, like speaking on his journey of being honest with himself about his sexuality and all of that, and how we have to be taking into consideration the state of the world and all of but it really took them reacting, because I kind of missed it almost, like it, because I was so focused on like he was calling him out, like that is what I was focused on. Yeah.
It's not even even 100% about his queerness, right?
Yeah. No. I took what I took it as was he's shady. Was calling Colton shady. And I think he's
Yes,
just saying in general, like he can lie, because that's really what it's
yes.
not even just about his queerness. He was on The Bachelor dating black women. He was on like, so he lies. He lies. It's not just
If you're
about like, oh, I
questioning
struggle.
yourself, don't go on the show that is mono or what's it called, homogeneous in nature, meaning
Mhm.
these are hetero
Mhm.
individuals looking for
Mhm.
a hetero
Mhm.
relationship. All right.
But
If you are,
even if we give some benefit of the doubt around, like, maybe he really did not even understand. Like, let's just hypothetically, hold on. Maybe he didn't even understand that he was questioning, right? Because figuring out your relationship with sexuality in a world that still wants to believe that everyone's heterosexual, even though we scientifically know that that's false. Like, and you could Google that. It can do a lot of confusing things, right? Because I've worked with so many clients who are on that journey of self-discovery, whether with that or something else. So, and just figuring out who they authentically are. So even if let's just hypothetical, because I still think there's still something big there, even if you like give him that benefit of the doubt and say, hey, maybe he really didn't know. Because if he was lied to his whole life and told that only thing that a man could be was heterosexual, then whatever attraction, right, in air quotes, he like felt to women, right, that would be the only thing he knows, right? He would be like, man, it don't feel like much, but I guess it must be what it's like to be heterosexual, because that's what people tell me, right? Maybe he really was confused. But then
yeah,
there's this other piece still there that like, but you seem to be racist and you dating black women and you also lied a lot on your show, right? So he just has a problem with lying, like in
and you know
general.
what?
In
Yes,
general.
yes, and you're making me jump back to the whole racism because there's so much we could peel back here. But I looked at some of the clips of him on The Bachelor. The chemistry he had with the white women and the chemistry he had with the black women do not compare.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
there was just so many. I'm like, I wanted to reach out to some of my skin folk
Mm-hmm.
on that season and be like, baby, not only is he not for you, but he's not for you.
For you. You're so funny, man. Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much to say.
He
Yeah.
no. He's on the naughty list, and not in a good way. Not in a
Not
good
in a
way.
good way. Not in a good
Mm-mm.
way.
He
Not fun naughty, bad naughty.
mm-mm. 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 But yeah, I can't talk no more about this because
In
it's going.
conclusion, Colton, don't catch W in the street, because you might
Nope.
be laying your ass out in the street. Because he is ready to do some damage.
I am 86 red hot, and the more that we talk about this, the more heated I'm feeling because I'm just
I
like,
know.
I hear you, friend, and
No,
you
I
are
agree. Like, I am with you, right? I'm just here to give the additional perspective for totality, right? The
right.
big broad picture. But no, everything you're saying, yeah, 100%.
It,
No, we're not disagreeing. We're just expanding upon each
no,
other's
we're not
ideas.
disagreeing on anything,
Yeah.
but we're poking it with two different ways, and I just want
Hmm.
you to know that I acknowledge how you
Yes.
are approaching this, right?
And I acknowledge
Um,
yours.
thank you.
Hmm.
Cause I have some choice words to say
This was
about.
the real knuck if you bug energy.
I have some choice
I
words
was
to
like,
say about
Dorinda?
Ed, about
Yeah,
Colton.
Dorinda that upset you this much? No, it was Colton. It was Colton. You knew we were gonna be
No,
talking about Colton
it wasn't just Colton, friend. It wasn't just Colton. Because
because you were
chaos is
mad
a
at
ladder.
everybody. Yeah.
Chaos
Mhm.
chaos is a ladder.
Mhm.
A rotten egg will ruin the entire bunch. A rotten apple will ruin the entire bag, right? There's a group of people at that table for Traitors. There's a group of people during the recording of Matt and Bowen's podcast who are watching, right?
Mhm.
When do people step in when when certain things don't pertain to them,
Mhm.
but they see that it's
What's
wrong
happening?
and it's
Mhm.
affecting others? When do people step in? And it makes me so upset because that's how we got here politically, socially in the United States. People are stepping in to push back ICE agents, but people
Mhm.
were not stepping in when there was police brutality. They are one in the same,
Yeah.
right? You do not get to ICE without going through police brutality. You do not get through police brutality without the mindset of incarcerating anyone with a certain complexion who does not socially, politically, psychologically align with you. But at the same time, those people that do not align with you are not causing you harm. And so, for the reason I'm getting more and more upset talking about this and thinking about all these situations, all these interactions, all of these examples that literally popped up on my timeline within days of each other is because even though they're not the root, they're not the cause, they are the symptom. No
Mm.
one around these people stepped in. And that just, so yeah, I needed to talk with you about that. And I needed your advice. I needed your word, your voice on how to handle stuff like that. Not just for them, but for me.
Yeah, for regulating you. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, time is always a part of regulating, but also understanding is, right? And so, the reason why I brought up some of these other aspects for us to chew on is because they don't negate what you're saying, but they do help you regulate, right?
Mhm.
Your point, right? Your points that you're making are that like bigger picture, what we need to be kind of the bullseye of where we need to be headed for like change. It's like, hey, we have to understand, we have to speak up when these things are happening. Or here's an example of what it looks like when people don't and what can occur and how that can affect people, all of that. But then, in order, when we're with ourselves and our thoughts about this thing, right, that
Yeah.
alone does not help us regulate. That fuels fire, that makes us really turn into the Hulk, right? And so, understanding is what helps us tame that fire. It doesn't get rid of the fire, but it allows it to be tamed enough so that we can use it with intention and purpose. We need both the points that you're making about the bigger issue and the understanding of how we got here. That makes a perfect recipe for making sure that the person who's advocating is both regulated enough to be able to fight towards the change that's needed. So you exactly where you're supposed to be, boo. And we were supposed to talk about this, and you got it, Dusty. It's all right, W. Be mad. Shit make you
You
mad. You handled
Thank
it
you.
correctly. You ain't hurt nobody.
You
You ain't
I
hurt
could.
nobody. You coulda. So this is healthy
But I won't.
released.
Yeah. Thank you.
But
Thank
what
you.
is your takeaway for the people? What do you want to leave them with this? Like this is your chance for your call to action, right? With what you want from the world, from humanity. So hit them with it.
Check your biases at the door and build community with anyone and everyone who do not actively nor passively cause you.
Mm,
I'm not at the point where I want to give up on society, where I want to give up on people. I'm not there. I'm not there just yet. And I want people to still, even myself, even with us, and how we interact with the world, to still show consideration. Because yes, I get
mhm.
heated, but at the same time, I'm going to show consideration. I'm going to show care and compassion all at the
Absolutely.
same time.
Yeah, they all
Um,
can exist.
right. So with that being said, just check your biases at the door and connect with others and help others on their journey. Just build community. do the right way. There is a right way and there is a wrong way. So that's what I want to say.
Beautiful, beautiful. And also, really quick before we go, at the end of every video, you'll be able to see where you can follow us. So we really hope that you will like, share, follow, join our community. You can also go to drabinaberry.com and you can find ways to work with me and also connect with and learn from me, including getting a copy of my book. If you are on your healing and growth journey and really need and are wanting some simple, direct guidance on really where to start, my book is a great resource for that. But yeah, hit us up on socials and follow and like, and we're just so happy to have y'all here. Well, y'all heard W, and hopefully that this episode really got you thinking. This was deep, this was necessary, and there were so many pieces of reflection. And so we also call, you all who are listening to really take time to sit with yourself too, from the points that were brought up today, and really see where your own, critical thinking and exploration and research takes you as well. Because we really have to be open to learning if we want change, right? Like that is just how it goes. Doing the same thing leads to the same results. But thank y'all so much again for tuning in to episode 2 of the Bored and Overeducated Podcast. I am your host, Dr. B, and I am here with my amazing bestie who has a fighting spirit, W.
Woman. You know what, y'all? If you laughed a little bit, wonderful. If you learned a little bit, that's great too. Thank you for listening to the Bored and Overeducated Podcast.
Love
Smooches.
y'all. Mwah, mwah. Smooches. Bye.